Hello and welcome back to Childcare Confidential. I'm Jessica Hampton, and this is my lovely co-host, Katie Dink. Hello, hello. Today we have got a special guest for you.
Yes, we do. Today's episode takes us to Minnesota, where there's a lot happening in the early childhood world, and where many professionals are asking tough questions that aren't fully reflected in the headlines.
Yeah, this isn't about drama or sound bites. It's about fairness, accountability, and the sustainability of a whole industry that families and communities really depend on.
We're joined today by someone who brings deep experience and a wide angle view of what's happening across the state. Aleta, welcome to Childcare Confidential. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Hello, Aleta. Before we dive into Minnesota specifically,
Yes.
I know everybody is dying to hear, we want listeners to understand a little bit more about who you are.
Sure.
And what you bring as far as your perspective. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your journey in the early childhood field?
Sure. So I started in 2020, and previously I was a kindergarten teacher, and then I opened my first center in 2020 and grew that, and over 25 years. Built 2 buildings and had 4 locations, about an average of 500 children per day and 123 teachers. In 2013, I opened a substitute teacher placement company that solely places early childhood educators into the early childhood centers throughout Minneapolis. I sold my childcare centers in 2021, and I continue to operate my substitute teacher placement company through today. I'm still operating, and we are in the centers daily and speak with these directors. We have over 200 childcare centers contracted and around 75 subs currently that are working on the front lines, doing the hard work and letting these teachers be on vacation and call out sick, and keeping these directors in their chairs while these subs go into the classroom to create consistency with the children each and every day. And I've been a small business coach for many years. My heart and soul is helping people, and I'm giving any little nugget I can to make sure that they can be the best that they can be. And if that's 1 nugget or 50 nuggets, then I'm ready for it. So I do a lot of conferences. I speak. I do a lot of podcasts, and I'm just excited to be here today.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You're busy.
No, I'm actually have a really good team, and they take care of things so they can take my vision from my head and make it happen.
Totally understand that. Katie likes to say that I'm the visionary, and I like that she can take what I'm thinking in my crazy head and make it happen.
Yes, we all need that.
Yes, you do. You need a good duo. So with the substitute placement company, you've worked in a lot of different programs. What would you say you've seen lately with that kind of area of the field?
Yeah, I think what we're hearing from the directors is there's more expectations put on their plate, more paperwork, more accountability, I guess you could say, with licensing. There is a lot of demand for them to continue to run this phenomenal childcare center, and it's hard. And they need to get back in their seat in their office so they can get all of the checks and balances done. But I feel like sometimes it's hard because they have to go into the classrooms, and then their work is still waiting for them. But what I also hear is, I've been out of operating a childcare center for a few years, and I continue to hear the expectations are more challenging with each year. And it almost feels as if the children, the care of the children, the education of the children are put on the back burner because we have all this other stuff to take care of. And with each year, there's more challenges, but also comes with that is less funding. And we don't get the support we need, and the teachers don't get paid what they should. And our centers don't get the support or knowledge or even, I mean, I don't even think that people look at childcare a lot as an industry, as an important industry. And I always called it as, hey, this is the strongest foundation we can build before they go off into the public schools. You can't
Absolutely.
build a house on a shaky foundation. Why? These are children's lives. Why are we missing this step? Why are we not giving the support that these childcare centers and directors need so they can have amazing teachers? They can pay what they deserve, and they can be open for 12 hours at a time for these, work schedules of these families. And, how do we keep the cost down so these families can take advantage of this care? And I think that's the main piece. We all, takes a village, right? We all have to work together to raise, tomorrow's future. And that's been my whole spiel my whole life. My company was called Children of Tomorrow. My substitute teacher placement company is Teachers for Tomorrow. And it's what we're doing today to help our future, period. And I think we're losing some of that each and every day. And these directors are getting burned out. They have to work more and more. And if they're not planning, I shouldn't say not planning, but if they're not able to plan accordingly, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
It sounds really
Absolutely.
stressful too, especially like being in the schools day in and
Yes.
day out. I 100% understand.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. How would you say that supporting multiple programs shaped the way that you see the system compared to when you were running your own?
That's an
I
interesting
know,
question.
thought-provoking. I'm so sorry.
It is. That's a tough one.
No, I think with that question, for me, you always have to have enough staff in place so someone can drive the ship, right? So I feel like making sure that we have enough staffing, whether it be your current staff or a substitute teacher, regardless who it is, you always have to have enough so someone can do the job up front. And the job up front is way different than even when I was operating. It's just the expectations are so, they get harder and harder. Paperwork alone, reporting, everything it takes to ensure that we're doing everything correctly so that when licensing does come, we've got everything in order. All of our paperwork, all of our folders, our files, every classroom has enough supplies that they need for a successful child to attend and grow in each level, the infants, the toddlers, the preschool. There's a lot more demands right now today than there was back. And that too, I'll say, not just from state, but from the families. The families have higher
absolutely.
expectations, and the children, it's harder. And and even going back even a step further is, some of these parents are so scared to put the boundaries and put rules in place for fear their children will not like them, that it's getting harder and harder for the teachers to teach. So it's kind of this trickle down. There's a lot going on up at top, and then we've got the families that have the higher expectations and all of the ways that we should be raising their child. And then we've got the teachers trying to work with the parents, and the parents trying to parent their child. It's kind of it's a challenge.
Oh yeah, I like
It's
to
so
call that a
rewarding,
goat
though, too.
rodeo sometimes.
But
It's a
the
goat rodeo
rewards,
around
right?
here.
Yeah, yeah. When you get to partner with a family and you get to create the most successful outcome for that child, nothing beats that feeling. Nothing.
100%.
Whether you
Absolutely.
are a director, a teacher, an aide, the cook, the bus driver, whatever your position is in this environment, I think that's where all of our hearts are. That's why we do what we do. The success of these
Absolutely.
children.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because if we don't have that, what are we doing?
Correct.
What are
Correct.
we doing? I'd be so tired.
Right.
I think all of us are feeling a little tired here and there right now with everything going on.
Yes.
So before we talk about what's making headlines right now,
Yes.
let's take a step back and talk a little bit about the foundation everything kind of rests on in Minnesota, which starts with licensing.
Yes.
Oof. Oof.
It's always a
Everybody
fun
dreads
one.
that word a little bit, I think. I mean, at least, I do a little bit. Not that I don't
Yeah, a
love our
little bit.
licensing lady so much.
Yeah.
But it's rough. Okay, so for listeners who may not fully understand how regulated early childhood education is, like in a full thought, how would you describe what it takes to open a licensed program in the state of Minnesota?
Okay. Well,
Yeah, see, everybody makes the
Because I
face.
think everybody saw all this YouTube stuff and they just have no idea and they're
No.
jumping on a bandwagon. And
Right.
it's like, let's
Right.
give you some like basic industry
Yes.
knowledge
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
those headlines went crazy fast.
They did. And the fact of the matter is I've tried to explain this to all of my friends who work in a different industry, right? So in order for us to open a childcare center as the nation, we need to have a certain amount of space for inside per child for the classrooms. We need to have a certain amount of space outside per square foot per child. We need to have a safe environment. We need to have paperwork. We need to have educated employees that have very thorough background checks. The paperwork alone is a lot for staffing to make sure that they're trained, they're up on their in-service training, they have everything that they need for schooling. Their files need to be spick and span, right? Because the licensor does come back and check, and they may drop in, they may give you a notification if they're coming. It's up to really them. And, for us, the state licensing gets involved, the building code gets involved, the fire chief, the everything, the city planner,
Yes.
everybody gets involved to make sure that your space is 100% licensable. And we in Minnesota operate out of DHS Rule 3. So in Rule 3, it has step-by-step instructions, what you have to have in a parent handbook, in the employee handbook, everything you need to keep on site to have for the licensor. It's critical. And you need to have a certain amount of books per child, a certain amount of blocks, a certain areas in your classroom, as does every other state.
Yes. Yes.
So
I don't think people realize that.
it's
Like
tough
it's just
because little Johnny could have eaten that book the day before and licensing comes in the day after and you're short a book and you get a violation. There's no, let me go get let me find this another book. I mean, you need 30 books, you need 30 books. And having violations on your record is hard. And the other thing that is hard is the violations that we received made things look so much worse than what they really were. A fray in the rug.
been there.
A fray in the rug is hazardous material, in front of children. I mean, a chip of paint is hazardous material, and you have to fix that within a certain amount of time to keep your license. And so having access to outside doors of every classroom, having an entrance and an exit for every classroom, having a certain amount of toilets and a certain amount of sinks per child. I mean, this is a lot of rules to follow, which hey, I'm all for it. I want it. And I'm not here to operate and say, I'm going to go against it and I'm going to do this wrong. But if you don't follow it and a licensor shows up, you're in trouble. I mean, you are. And without a clean license number, I can't apply for, getting star rated, or I can't apply for any funding for grants or money that could come in and help our families or help our teachers. And that's where I think so many people are working so hard to make sure that they are doing things correctly, that when we see this, we're like, what's happening here? In my eye, I can physically, visually see violations, like right off the bat in this video. That's just me. And I'm not going to go into that, but it's hard when so many of us are barely hanging on by a thread because we're working so hard for these families and children. And then we see this. And look, we are all trained. Every childcare center out there is trained for safety. So if someone were to show up at my door, I would not have let that person in if he had a camera, if he had all these people behind it. Like, that didn't feel right to me. And I'm not going,
I agree.
I don't want to go too far.
We're agreeing.
We agree. We wouldn't have let him in our door either.
Right. We have safety measures put in place by law, by Rule 3, by everything we've been trained on. Make sure that you provide a safe environment. And that training, we have to prove that training. Everything has to be documented. There needs to be a certain amount of hours. So this paperwork needs to be up front and center at any time, because if that director is off site, somebody needs to provide this paperwork for the licensor that walks through the door. It can't be at the director's home. It can't be at the owner's home. It has to be on site, up front and center.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting. I was going to ask next, what are the non-negotiables with opening a program? But really, I think a lot of the states follow these same things as far as square footage, outside playgrounds, those
curriculum,
sorts of things, curriculum.
Behavior management.
And so, and I think the important thing that you had said with some of that was different organizations come out and inspect. It's not on one person, several different organizations. I mean, we got the health programs, we've got, fire safety, we've got licensing, we've got building regulations to follow. There's so much. And our field is so critically judged through licensing sometimes with the violations, because they come off harsher than what they actually are at times. You're just kind of going, well, that's not at all what happened.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
And so I think that people they've jumped on this bandwagon, especially now with these videos out, where I'm seeing that, YouTubers pull up these videos and they're like, oh my goodness, their windows are blacked out. And I'm like, those are graphics to protect the privacy of the children. Some states that's required, but good job, buddy.
So sorry, you can't peep on kids and see them in their daily activities.
So I also watch videos and go, oh, either the YouTubers lost their mind, or, ooh, y'all better get on there real quick.
Yes, yes. I think it's equal. Somewhere in the middle is what is actually happening. I don't know what that is. I think a lot of us feel both ways, and we're not sure what that middle ground is. We're not sure who to trust, who to believe, what to think. But I mean, if you are trying to follow, I mean, we have a health nurse every month that comes in and checks to make sure that we're doing everything for infant and toddlers. Mandatory. We have to provide those reports to the state. So you've got your health nurse, you've got your licensing to make sure. You've got insurance, they do audits. I mean, you've got so many people involved to ensure that you're doing what you're doing. Absolutely. Are we all following the same rules? Do we all have the same rules? Do we all have to follow the same rules? What are those? And how do we make sure that anyone out there across the nation, these are children. It's not working at Target. It's not working at a fast food restaurant or a gas station. And there's nothing wrong with those industries at all. However, in order for our future to grow and be strong and to learn and be good, kind people, we have to follow rules and we have to
Yep.
set good examples. And anyone across the nation who isn't following the rules, we have to hold them accountable. And whether it be Minnesota, whether it be Texas, whether it be Florida, I don't care who you
Absolutely.
are. I just want people to know that we can't be, it can't affect the ones that are following the rules to a T. It just can't. Somebody
Right.
else's fault can't affect what we're all trying very hard to do. And if we have a violation, tell me what I did wrong. Tell me how I can fix it. And let's help make sure that if it's going wrong, why didn't they get us the support they needed if they were doing things
Mhm.
incorrectly? Where we're all the supportive people that we all have to have in our back pocket to ensure that we're providing an amazing environment for these children.
Maybe instead of being so critical of some of those licensing things, they could come alongside us and help and
Yes,
guide the field. And those that are messing up, which honestly, there's fewer of them than there are good schools out
correct.
there that are
Correct.
working hard. We buy the book too. And I just think that's important, but that also comes with having to need funding. People go, I can't believe childcare is so expensive. Hey, take a look at all the rules we have to follow. It's
Correct.
unlike
Correct.
any other industry. And some of them are nonsense, to be honest, but a lot of them are there with good purpose. And so we need to find that boundary and states really need to look at some of that funding because we need funding to have quality.
Correct. Correct.
Unfortunately, those two do go hand in hand.
Well, I
Um,
always say, why can't employers have a benefit of childcare?
We have been
I mean,
asking
childcare
this
centers do.
forever.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you think, I mean, licensing and consistency does matter. It matters so deeply for our field. Not just fairness among like providers, but children and families too. And I feel like maybe with the differences from state to state or county to county in some places, that we don't always see that consistency. Even within our state in Indiana, I feel like we don't have that consistency across all different types of licensing.
Agreed.
How do you see that? Do you think that it does really matter deeply? Do you think that we're just kind of skirting over some consistency and maybe that's where some of these things are falling short?
So it's interesting you say that because I also, one of my companies is the operations of my substitute teacher placement company. So anyone that wants to open a substitute teacher placement company can buy my system and they can open in their area.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
however, the biggest challenge we face, especially in New York, is the different licensing rules. And licensing across the nation is different in every state, whether they'll allow you to have a sub in your schools or your school and not another school, or a blanket, license number across, your company. So each of your subs can go into other schools. It's so different and expectations are so unclear to the point where even here in Minnesota, you'll have licensor number A or letter A and licensor B. Neither one of them are on the same page. They think this is what the rule is, but this is actually what the rule is. And when they visit and everything was okay last time and we're still doing this, we'll get a violation for what we were doing in the past. But then when they call their manager, the manager has to investigate it. And then we say, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's, so there's a lot of inconsistency, I believe, in training. I think they too are short staff, and I don't think that they've had a good onboarding, I guess. Or is it clear what the rule states and the expectations? Is everyone on the same page with what the rules are? I don't know. I mean, if you go into our licensing rule and when they have updates, some of them don't have the same updates as what they were before. So then you're looking at the bottom. Is it 2018? Is it 2023? Is it 2016?
Stressful.
What are you
Yeah.
using? What are you supposed to use? And then when you
Right.
call and you leave a message, it's weeks later. Nobody, and it's hard because
Yes.
across the nation, everyone is short staffed, right? And
Mhm.
but if all of this is going on, like we're all trying to do it right. There's extra red tape every year, every time I open that rule. Our companies are going to continue to be strained, and our directors are going to continue to get stressed out and frustrated and feel like they're failing. And
Mhm.
it's just not fair. It's just
It's
not.
not. It's not fair. We've
disagree
had
at all.
similar situations, with licensee coming in, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, there's a new rule," and we're going, "Since when?"
You didn't even tell
Um,
anybody.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Indiana right now doesn't even know that they have new ratios that came out January 1st, but it has not been communicated to providers yet.
And it's not even on their
It's not
page.
after January 1st.
It's my
Yeah,
favorite.
they told us,
She's like,
Minnesota
"What?"
told us that they were not going to make us aware, that we just have to, of any new changes, we just have to go in and constantly look at the rule
course.
to see if there's
Right.
any changes. But
That's how we found ratios.
it's
It
over
makes no
200
sense.
pages. How do you
Makes no
do you
sense.
have time to do that and find where the change is?
No.
There's got to be a better system.
I feel like there's so much chaos and uncertainty and confusion that spreads all across, especially in like the news articles compared to like licensing requirements that we have to do. Everything is so different and bent, and you just actually don't ever know what's going to be the right path to go forward. But
Well, and we all have the same goal, right? I mean,
Right.
across the nation, let's take care of these children. Let's
Right.
give them a
Right.
safe and clean and educational space and get them prepared for their next step in life. Why can't we have up at the top, this is the way the rules should be across all the states? What is the problem with
Absolutely.
that?
well, that would make too much
I
sense,
agree.
I think.
I mean, we
Right.
had to do that during COVID. I mean,
It's so frustrating because I am the type of leader that says, if you give me black and white what I need to do, I got
Yes.
you.
Yes.
That is
Nothing's black and white. Everything. Our fire inspector doesn't agree with our licensing people.
Oh,
And so
no.
you're like, well,
That's
which rule do you follow? And they just look
Yep.
at you like, I can't tell you which rule to follow. And I'm like,
Mhm.
but see,
Yep.
I'm already in trouble. I haven't even started.
Yep. Yep.
It makes
Nobody
no
speaks to each other.
sense.
Yep.
no.
Yes.
Okay, so when the stories do hit the news, they often focus on single moments or a particular situation. But so, from your perspective specifically, what parts of the story do you feel like tend to get left out?
Specifically, I think around what's happening with
Yes.
your
Sorry.
state right now and
Like that.
everything that everybody wants to now have an input on.
That never did before.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people focusing on so many different things here, and so much heat is going on, and they're all jumping to conclusions that it's one set of people or one set of, there is harmful stereotyping going on. And I think and I don't know how to accomplish this, but I think that the parent trust is being lost. And I think directors are feeling like they have to prove that they're legitimate or they have a good center. Are you following the rule? Everybody's calling and asking different questions. There's just so many things that those of them that are operating correctly are jumping to, well, this wouldn't have happened at the center. I wouldn't have done this. I can't believe that this is making so much headway because they let X, Y, and Z, or they didn't open the door, or this is, what they said. He comes in with a big, almost attack, doesn't ask the right questions. If a family was looking for care for little Joey or Johnny or whatever he said, it just felt very, if that's what he wanted to do, I would have done it differently if he was trying to ask some of those questions.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
you know, again, you don't want to name a group, you don't want to
No.
stereotype, you don't want to go there, but you do want to figure out the fraud. I mean, if there's fraud somewhere, let's figure it out. If
Right.
someone's not operating correctly, let's figure it out. And it's there is so much going on. And then I have
Mhm.
everyone calling from out of state. Oh my gosh, can you believe this? Oh my gosh, is this really true? How bad is it there?
Ugh.
And how bad is it in your state if someone doesn't follow the rules? How bad is it in your state
Mm.
if you find out that someone in some company is committing fraud?
Nobody
It's
likes it.
hard.
It's
No,
not
Yes.
great.
no,
Nobody
no.
likes it. I think, I actually have a friend that had posted on her page in a different state, and she said somebody had come and tried to do the whole YouTube thing, and they aired the YouTube video of her school, and she's like, "We were closed. It's the holidays."
Well, yes,
Like,
that is
there's a lot
exactly
going out
it.
right now, and people are just quick to jump on board, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"We would have been closed all last week. We closed between Christmas and New Year's."
yeah,
And so she's like, I mean, she was ready with the Twitter fingers, ready to go, and then she's like, "I had to delete, step back, and
yeah.
remember that, like, yes, there are people that probably are not following the rules. I am not one of those people. I don't need to defend myself. However,
Correct. Correct.
people need to understand a little bit more, I think, about our field and how things work before they can really just jump on there. Because if somebody came at me with cameras aggressively, kind of, I'm going to
Mhm.
step back and close the door. That's what we do to
Right,
protect everybody around us.
right.
I'm going to put myself in between those kiddos, or whatever. So I agree with, like, maybe handling it a little bit differently would have been very helpful if he was really trying to
Right, right.
uncover something. Um,
Well, and I
so
think
yeah,
at the end of the day, I mean, this whole thing is emotional for everyone, right? We've got providers that are feeling, angry and anxious,
yeah,
that the whole entire industry gets painted as shady or they're doing something wrong. It does is just
it
because a few
hurts.
people are committing fraud, is it the entire industry? Is it, certain people?
Right.
Why that? And these schools, these directors, the teachers, they're exhausted already. They are having this great holiday break and lower enrollment over or attendance over
Right.
the holidays, and then all of a sudden they have this big breakout and they have to come today on Monday and kind of deal with a lot of this stuff. It's hard. And the last biggest thing I think we all think about is how we can protect, and that's protect our name and our brand and our children and our staff, our reputation, and
Yeah,
make sure that we're talking about all the good. Like, where is all the
absolutely.
good coming out of this instead of just political
Mhm.
fraud, political stereotyping? Yes,
Yeah.
it could be a small group of people or a small group of cities or nations that are doing this, but at the end of the
Mhm.
day, fix that and like fix it and let
Right.
us continue to operate amazing companies.
Absolutely. I don't think you should lump everybody in together at all.
Yeah.
Um, so what is specifically happening, I guess, with funding, with you guys? Are you still having subsidy funding right now? Is that on hold? We've heard a lot of different things, and I've kind of
Yeah,
just left it all out
We
there,
want the
but
truth,
I want to
though.
know, like, from
Yes.
somebody in it, what is going on with you guys specifically due to everything happening?
so that doesn't impact me. However, I know that the funding was tightened up or stopped.
Okay.
When
That's what we're
it
hearing
gets
too.
delayed, they can't, a lot of providers can't even float the payroll if the funding stops. Um, for
Mhm.
me, I also think about for my company is if the centers aren't getting the money that they expect because of the children that are in the center, then the children can't come. And then now we're going on the reversal of now there's an overabundance of teachers because there's not enough children that are able to attend the childcare centers. So then that affects me as if you have an overabundance of teachers, you don't need subs anymore. But, I think everybody is scrambling right now to figure out how we operate with the funds not being up front and center and here when we expect them. I don't have anything to do with assistance anymore just because I'm not
That's so nice.
operating the childcare. I know.
That's so nice.
But
yeah, but it could affect you as it trickles down from the
Yes,
schools and everything.
Yes. But I know
Yeah.
it's a lot of centers rely on that funding to ensure that they can continue to operate effectively. And that's weighing heavy on a lot of our numbers across, the childcare industry.
Absolutely. I know it's weighing heavy on us, and we've had a lot of phone calls because all of a
Yes.
sudden nobody's getting funding kind of went out there.
Right.
We have not seen any changes in our state yet.
Good.
But I mean, they have to do something to find out what's going on. They don't have to lump everybody in together, I think is kind of
Correct.
our stance on it. There are a lot of providers out there that are fighting for their lives right now. They are
Yes.
trying to manage a budget that's unrealistic.
Yes.
A lot of the times, and trying to make, staff happy and families happy and government happy. And it is a little bit overwhelming, but I think people come back because they're passionate about it. And I think all of us on here are passionate about what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't take the time to really advocate for this field. But I think hopefully that this will get America looking at us a little bit differently when we get through all of it.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to take a step back before you can go forward, right?
Yeah. And I think, the really great childcare centers out there that are operating top notch have got those relationships with those families and are creating stability for them in a way that, it'll get paid back at a different time. I just feel like when you truly partner with a family to raise these children, when the wrinkles happen, we can get through them. And when the trust is had from the parents and the center because of how amazing that you're doing, all of this other stuff it'll come down the line and things will work out. It may be a bumpy road right now, but just making sure that these classrooms are full of these children that need to be there and can be there, and just wait it out, and hopefully it'll work itself out.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I agree.
The fact that you just said the word trust too, I find so funny. As Jess and I were just having a conversation, she likes to gift us a word to focus on for each year. That's our New Year spiel, and this year is trust. So the fact that we're all going to trust that things are going to work out, I think, makes a lot of sense.
It's a hard word for me.
It is.
It's a goal word.
Well, those of us standing after COVID, I feel like this is nothing compared to what we went through. And you guys, we made it through and we're still here. So just go back and look at the strength you gained and what you learned from that very scary time, and know that this time is just a little bumpy, and people that need to figure out what is happening will, and things will get taken care of. But I don't agree with them lumping all of us in and making all of us suffer from a bad apple. So
I think that's my hardest thing too. It's okay. You found a situation, so go fix that situation and let the rest of us continue educating children and doing our jobs like we should.
Because that can't be put on hold.
No,
we can't lose a day. Yes.
No, if we did not have childcare in this nation for one day, even, our economy is done. I couldn't imagine. Nobody could work. It would be like Christmas Day or Thanksgiving, but with everybody that celebrates.
Yes, right.
Oh gosh, it'd be nuts. Oh man. Okay. Katie, what else do you have? I know we've kind of went through so many questions and we skipped a lot of them too, believe it or not.
Yeah,
We'd have you all day.
This is my favorite question, Aleta, that we ask every guest that we have come on here. So, and it's not going to be that crazy, so it'll be all right. But for anyone who is listening who maybe feels discouraged or unseen, what would you like for them to know specific from you, where you've been, your perspective? What do you feel like you could tell them if someone is feeling discouraged, unseen, all the saddies right now?
Yeah, find a group of people that you can communicate with on a consistent basis. I think that is the only thing that saved me through my entire professional career for even right now, 25 years. I don't go a month without people in my space that I can call at any given time to laugh with, to cry with, to talk through, to problem solve. There are, MCCA, NAEYC. I mean, there are so many groups out there that you can belong to or be a part of. There's a lot of mastermind groups. I had the same mastermind group for many, many years. We knew each other's families. Vernon was a part of it. It's just during these really hard times, you rely on the people that you trust, that you care about, that are in the field, that walks the walk and can talk the talk. And it's not easy being a business owner, being at the top, being a leader, being a director right now, being a teacher. But whoever you are, whatever position you hold, get a group of people in your space that you can really build a trustful bond with, and that you can bounce ideas off. And like I said, sometimes we have to cry. Most times we get to laugh and enjoy, but there are challenges in running a company, no matter what industry you're in. And it sure is nice to have someone to lean on, someone to ask, someone to be a part of those challenges, because you know darn well that they've had these challenges before, or they're going to face them at some point. And talking it through with someone else, it's gold. You can't ever know everything, and you can't claim to know everything. You can't problem solve by yourself. A team of one is really lonely. And make sure that you have someone outside of your company that it's not a time to just go in and bash the heck out of what's going on and talk bad and get more worked up. But it's a time to, it's a safe space to really talk about how you're feeling and your worries and your successes. And this is what I did when, and this is how I felt if. So that's what I would say is, do not run solo. You need a team around you.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. It's so easy to get alone by yourself when you are leading a company or leading an organization, and without having the people to talk to and discuss things with. I don't know what I would do.
Right.
Everybody is so competitive in our area. And sometimes I just want to go, y'all, calm down. There's enough kiddos out there. We're all in this together.
Yep.
Like, maybe we would benefit more if we work together a little more versus trying to compete with each other.
Yes.
I think also it's important to say to our listeners out there that we're not asking for shortcuts as an industry. Really, we're just asking for fairness, transparency, and for people to recognize, like, hey, this is a hard field. And there's a lot of regulations that people don't know about. So when you see these stories online and whatnot, just know some of them just don't know what they're talking about. I watched and went, what? You don't even make sense.
Correct.
So please know that children always deserve like a safe, consistent, high quality place, which does come with funding.
It does.
Yes. We couldn't do it otherwise.
Absolutely, we couldn't. But we're not out to bash a certain group or a certain organization or a certain state that's going through something, because we all have stuff we're going through. Every
Yeah.
state has stuff they're going through. And just because this is found in one area does not mean that it's a nationwide crisis. So
This is accurate.
hopefully people will understand that the further we get away from the original story.
I think at the end of the day, too, is licensing. We need to demand more clear consistency
Yes.
rules that apply to all of us, so we all can work together to create a space that is top notch.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Aleta, thank you for bringing your experience, your honesty, and your advocacy to this conversation. Yeah. We truly appreciate it. And you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a
absolutely. Pleasure. Thank you so much. And to all of our listeners, if this episode resonated with you, make sure to share it, like it, all the good stuff, and get involved in advocacy. I can't say it, advocacy in your state, because it's important. And we all need to start gearing towards getting licensing on the same pages, because even state to state, there's division with that stuff.
Yes.
So let's get on the same page and get consistent, because in the end, it's all for the kids and the families.
It is.
In our future.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you so much. Everybody have a great week. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.